again, we are very happy to have you still with us for more Explore Tulsa.
Now, May 20th is not only Trish's birthday, but in 2013, it was one of those days that Oklahomans will always remember.
The EF5 tornado that wreaked havoc on the community of Moore would take 24 lives and injure nearly 400 more.
And Steve and Earp, along with a host of filmmakers in Oklahoma, were able to tell the story of the events of that day and the challenges that would follow in the amazing documentary, Where Was God?
I live in Moore, and I pastor Elevate Church there in Moore. When the storm came through on the afternoon of May the 20th, everyone in our area was impacted to some extent. For some that experienced the worst kind of tragedy, they're still wondering if they're going to ever come out of the storm. So we found ourselves all of a sudden in full-time disaster relief, just like everyone else in Moore. I had a friend approach me who was involved in film, and he said, hey, his name was Chris Forbes, he was a producer, and he said, after the media is gone from here, there still are going to be stories worth telling. And that's how this was born. We wanted to follow a handful of families, sharing stories of faith, hope, and overcoming, and sort of chronicle the emotional and spiritual recovery. There's the Newby family is one example. Their son was in Plaza Towers Elementary, which was destroyed by the tornado, and some of the kids didn't make it out. Their son was heroically saved by his teacher. She sacrificed her body, ended up in the hospital for months. And these are the types of stories that we see a lot of, where tragedy turns everyday people into heroes. And so even in the midst of great darkness, you see these lights or these silver linings where God, through people, really can cause great things to happen in spite of the disaster. A common question people ask is why when tragedy strikes? Why did God allow this to happen? Or if God is good and He's all-powerful, well, why do bad things happen? And that's a very difficult question to answer, the question why. And I would not presume to know the mind of God in an attempt to answer that question. But what we tried to do with the film is reflect on the question, where was God? Which we do think we may not be able to answer it directly, but we feel like the stories of these people in their first-person narratives, through their own words express how they believe they encountered God in such a way. There are some of the families reflected in the film that still day to day, it's a struggle. It depends on the day, it depends on the week. When you lose someone very close to you, it's not something that you recover from. There's sort of a new normal that's happening there. So it really varies family to family. This is the redemption tree, and it was fashioned completely out of, to the extent that we could, is fashioned completely out of debris from the Moore tornado. There are some pieces in it that are reflective of different family members that were either lost or saved in the film. And then, it was put together by an artist, Tony Hebert, who's an Oklahoma City artist. It took him 4 months with volunteers to help put this together. In addition, Chris McGahan was a glass blower. Part of the sculpture has a Redento Refinado, which is blown glass. It means redeemed elegance. So it's this idea of making something beautiful out of brokenness. And that's really what the redemption tree represents. It's the concept of rising from the rubble, no matter what happens in your life, still having the ability to pick up some pieces and go on with your life. There's already a bustling film community here in Oklahoma, a lot of professionals and artisans of different crafts, and many of them approached us saying that they wanted to be involved and give back. Our lead editor on the project, for instance, is Don Stevenson, and he lost his home in the May 3rd, 1999 tornado. And when he saw this project, the film community had helped him a lot at that time, and he looked at this and thought, this is a great way for me to give back. And we just saw that over and over and over, and this was a way that gifted artists could contribute to recovery in a way that matches their gifts and abilities. We believe and we hoped that when people watch this, they would walk out hopeful that no matter the circumstance, you can find hope, you can find faith, you can overcome. And I think that is the result that we're having.